well, exactly. Regardless of the business, I've got folks that I follow, and they're that they talk about the experience, especially for young women coming into a dealership. It's a predominantly male-oriented uh, business, and a lot of
A
women
little
walk
bit
in.
still.
It's getting a lot better. I mean, there's a lot more women in authority, owners, general managers, and that's a good thing. I mean, 30 years ago, it seemed like, the good old boys were doing everything they could to keep the ladies out of the business.
Did you
Uh,
ever meet Donna Johnson when she was in the business?
yeah, Donna was a great advocate, and Donna, I don't know if she's still in the business, but Donna is a great representative. I mean, I remember a lady that worked for Sonic many years ago, Carolyn Cross. And, she was a general manager over one of the largest Chevrolet stores in in their organization and in the country. And, for her to achieve that status 20 years ago, what she had to have gone through to get to that point. I mean, kudos to her.
Yep.
But she, like many others, paved the way for so many folks. I mean, I know when I go talk and I meet with folks at conferences, most of the BDC and internet directors are women. And a lot of the women now are, like I said, they're general managers, they're dealer principals, they're owner operators.
Yep.
And that was rare 30 years ago when we
Yeah.
broke.
Donna Johnson started in the 70s over
Yeah.
at I think it was Gentile Dodge.
Hmm.
I mean, and she was a firecracker. I mean, especially back then, you had to have a totally, completely different level to operate as a woman in that business.
Yeah. And thankfully that's changing. So, the thing, and getting back to the point we were talking about before, you know, women feel intimidated, but they've had the ability to dictate, more than 50% of the purchasing decisions. And, whether it's them on their own purchasing or as, you know, uh, a couple coming in to make a decision, we've known that's been a problem with the way ladies are treated when they come in. I mean, you look at some of the old Johnson Automotive commercials with, Grady the Badger, and some of the anecdotes that he did was, insulting the woman coming in, and you know, she's looking to buy an SUV, and the first question he asks is, well, when you're ready to bring your husband, come on. And she's like, just looking at him, and it was so sexist. But that was the effect of it is, come here, you won't be badgered. It's still today, but the dealers that are successful, they understand the influence that women have not only in the purchasing decision, but and I have a good friend, her name is Katie Morris, and she wrote a book called Custom Her Experience. And the whole idea is, women may not say something when they walk in and they're insulted, they just don't come back. And they tell
Well,
all
it's
their friends
everybody.
don't bother to come back there. But also when you're looking at um, your female employees in the dealership,
Hmm.
what does what is their expectation? What are you doing for them to make them feel appreciated? And I was at a seminar that Katie was presenting, and there's a room full of general managers, and I said, go in your women's room and see what it looks like, and just think of whether your wife or your mother's walks in there, and how would they feel?
Well,
And
do it when you're closed, hopefully.
yeah. But the idea is, does it look like a roadside stop, or is it something that's pampered for what a woman's expectations are? Is it clean?
Hmm.
Is it representative of what a woman wants when she walks into the dealership? I mean, you go to a Lexus or high-end
Oh
Infiniti
yeah.
store, they
I was
already
just gonna say.
understand that. But your Chevrolet or Ford or, are you up to that same level? Probably not. And it was funny watching all these general managers just start scrambling and said, okay, I guess I'm going to have to spend some money updating my facilities, not only for my employees, but for the women that we expect to do business. But the impact that women have on the industry as leaders, but also as consumers. And, you know, as we pivot to some of this in this discussion about on experience, women would like to deal with a woman salesperson in a lot of cases. They may feel intimidated dealing with a man. And we have to recognize that and match personality with personality wherever we can. Um, but
This is according to Zippia.com, and we might want to take it with a grain of salt, but approximately 32.8% of auto dealerships in the US are owned by women. So I would assume that's a big difference from back in the day when you guys started
Oh,
out.
That's a
absolutely.
huge difference.
Absolutely. But I would try to find
Back in
out
our
what's
day,
the,
back in the 80s and 90s, probably would have only been women who inherited dealerships
Mm.
from guys, their husbands who had heart attacks.
or, their family had been in the business. I mean, we have a dealer group that I follow, Carter Myers Automotive. They're 100 years strong, and Liza Borch is their president and CEO, and she's third generation owner, operator, and she's a dynamo in the industry. And but there's more and more of that to your point. I would say statistically, looking at that source, see how many females are employed in the automotive industry, and I would say that it's greater than 50% of the employees. Because a lot of them are in the back end, they're doing clerical work, they're comptrollers. But again, as I mentioned, right now, BDC managers, internet directors, marketing directors, they make up a great portion of dealership employees, and I guarantee you more than 50% of the employees in dealerships are women.
Yep. Still
Guaranteed.
minority as far as service writers in some other areas, but they're definitely gaining a lot of ground.
Well, I can tell you the places that I go, it's 50-50 for the service writers, and there's a lot more service directors that are women.
We probably need to take this with a grain of salt because I'm getting it from Google AI, but according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, approximately 21.4% of employees at all auto dealerships are women. And then
Hmm.
so
Not
like
surprising.
according
Yeah.
to Automotive News dealership salary survey, about 85% of respondents were men and only 13% women. But
Yeah.
Yep.
again,
Yep.
Yeah.
I think what you're probably perceiving, Mike, is sample bias. In other words, there are a lot more Dodge Vipers on the road as far as perception than in reality, because when you see 50 Toyota Camrys drive past you, you ignore them, but you see the one Dodge Viper in the other lane, you go, hey, yeah, that's a Dodge Viper. And so
No.
we notice the women, especially us from our generation, we notice the women in the dealerships a lot more readily, because to us, that looks out of place. To us, it seems extraordinary,
Yeah,
because
I can
that
tell you
was
the
not the case
conferences.
back in our day. Yeah.
Yeah, the conferences I go to, most of the attendees are women, more than 50%. And most of them are in the digital field and, just in general, the influencers that I see, women in automotive, the especially when you start looking at um, another group that I follow, women of color in automotive, WOCAN, big up and coming group. And the ladies that are participants in that, they all have high-ranking positions. Again, general managers, dealer principals, internet and DDC directors. So I think those I'm surprised by those results, Walter. But like I said, when I look at and I attend some of these things, especially the last 4 or 5 years, uh, predominantly it's a game changer on how many women are in authority and influence in the
Oh, it's a
industry.
lot. It's definitely shifted a whole lot since
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
70s, especially, or even the 80s and 90s. Uh, I think it's still got a lot more room to shift. It
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there's so much
the
opportunity.
the